Hey folks, we're now live. This is Mike Moore from the MDM Show. How are you guys doing today? Part of MDM Life Architects. What does MDM Life Architects do? It's like a custom home builder. If you've heard of custom home builders, we're custom life builders. So we have a special guest here today. I think she might be waiting backstage. If I'm not mistaken, she might be backstage. So very special guest here today, Nevaeh Ferrara Horne. Just 1 second. I'm going to see if I can find her backstage here. Just 1 second. See if I can find her. Boom, there she is. Hello, Nevaeh. How's it going?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
Excelente. So this is Nevaeh Ferrara Horne. She's an NCAA Division 1, not Division 2, not Division 3, but Division 1 basketball star. She played 2 years at the University of North Dakota. She just recently transferred over to the University of San Francisco. We'll talk about that a little bit later. She's a Regina, Saskatchewan, Canada product. She played her high school ball at Harvest City Christian Academy from grades 9 to 11. Then to play prep basketball, she went over to Ontario to play her grade 12 year there. And not only did she play basketball, she played volleyball. She played flag football for 9 years. Another story she told me about is that through RBC Training Ground, she was even a rower. She could have played at a Power 5 Division 1 school because of her impressive results with RBC Training Ground. So you chose basketball, Nevaeh. So can you tell us a bit about why you're good at everything? It sounds like you're good at like everything you do. So it's like we'll talk about all that. So why did you choose basketball?
Yeah, I mean, it's probably the sport that I've played the longest. And because I was tall, my parents put me in it at a young age. And I'm very competitive and I was very good at the sport. I didn't like it the first day, actually. The first day I was crying.
Oh, yeah.
I was probably grade 2 or 3, so I didn't really understand kind of like what sports were like. But after the first day, I really loved it and I had some success through it. So it just kind of made me want to keep going. And kind of compared to the other sports, it just, I don't know, there's just something different about it that I just loved. And like compared to volleyball, for example, I just thought it was too much standing around for me. I did enjoy it, but once it was like basketball season, I was way more excited. I can't lie.
So do you remember the first time you had a basketball in your hand? Was it like in the gym of your elementary school, or with your parent? Like the first time you held a basketball, I was like, what am I going to do with it?
Oh, honestly, I don't remember that exactly. I do remember like the first day that I've ever played was in this like Steve Nash like program that kind of develops like young kids or teaches young kids how to play. And I just remember like not liking it, but I don't know. I don't know how long it really took me, but I don't think it was long before I came around to it and really liked it. Then I was on multiple teams. So
yeah, how did you notice, like how long did it take and how did you notice that you were a little bit cut above, or did that take a while for you to show that you're better than the people you're playing with? Like how long did that take for you?
I don't think very long. I think I just had like natural abilities and like anticipation from a young age, which is kind of not always natural to some kids.
Mm-hmm.
So that helps a lot. And yeah, I feel like just even like, yeah, compared to most kids around that age, I just feel like it just came natural to me, honestly. I don't think there was really much to it. Some kids, it just comes natural, and to others, maybe it doesn't so much, but I'm also very competitive too, and I like to win, so that helps.
Oh yeah, definitely. So you played elementary school and you played high school. So can you tell us a little bit about, we won't go back to elementary school, but high school, how did that all go when you played at the Harvest City Christian Academy and then you went over to play prep school in Ontario? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so before I played at Harvest City, actually, I played at Laval High School. It's like a French school in Regina.
Mm-hmm.
And I went there in grade 8, but because there wasn't enough players on the team, on the senior team, I was able to play senior basketball in grade 8. And that's when I kind of knew that I was going to take it more seriously than I already was, because I was doing well against like older players, even though it was tier 2, not tier 1 in Regina at the time. But it still was like, I'm in grade 8 playing against like grade 11 and 12 girls. So like had success there. So then I didn't know if I would go to Harvest City, to be honest. It was kind of between like there and a couple other schools, but I overall just really liked, I knew some players going there, and I knew the coach, and I knew it was a very competitive program, and I thought I could get better. So that's kind of why I went to Harvest City, and it was a great 3 years. I really enjoyed it. I think I really developed. I'd go every morning and shoot before school at like 6:30 in the morning and get a lot of reps and work on different things with my coach and then some of my teammates as well. So it was just a very good environment to be training in. And then the one thing that kind of held me back from playing in this league was that it's not the most competitive league there is in Canada. And I feel like I kind of reached a point where it just became almost too easy for me. And I feel like I couldn't grow. So I had to make that move to Southwest Academy in Ontario because it's the best league in Canada, the OSBA. And there's some great players in that league playing on Team Canada, going down to the States, playing Division I. Like, they all have those kind of similar goals. And I wanted to go play Division I. So I knew if I wanted to make that move that I would have to go to Southwest. So I found out about Southwest from an all-star game that I had played in Ontario. My mom met one of the other players' moms, and she was like, "Oh, Nev should come to Southwest."
Wow.
So that kind of is how the connection came about. And I really had to make a name for myself at Southwest because I'm a girl from Saskatchewan, no one knows Saskatchewan. So I really had to work hard, and I became second team all-star that year. And I worked really hard for that.
Cool.
And I had a great experience with my teammates. And then I ended up in North Dakota.
So when you go to that next level, when you went to Southwest, the training regime that you had at your previous high school, did you have to up that? You mentioned that you got up at 6 a.m, or you were at 6 a.m. practicing. Did you have to up your game in the gym and your cardiovascular activity and the reps that you're putting in on the court before and after practice and all that kind of stuff to get yourself up there?
I would say so, yes, but I wouldn't go training early as much just because school started earlier. It started at like 8 a.m. and then I didn't have a car, and then it wasn't as easy to get places. I lived in a team house, and we had to take the bus to school, and we had to walk like a block or over a block. So yeah, but we would have longer practices, and we would practice every day with hardly any days off. And so I don't even know how long our practices were. I would say probably like 2.5 to 3 hours. And a lot of us would stay and shoot after. So it wasn't like early morning, but we would do more after. Yeah. And on weekends, I had nothing to do. I didn't have a car, like I said. So me and my teammates would just go and shoot at the gym and work on a bunch of moves and play one-on-one King's Court and just do it for hours.
Cool. So your parents and your sisters and yourself, you said you came upon the school. Did your parents do research, or did your coach do research, or did you check out anything else at the high school before you went to the Southwest one, or it just kind of fell upon you when you got there?
Well, we definitely did a little bit of research, but I've always known it was kind of a good program because a couple of the girls on the team, I did Zoom calls with Canada Basketball with them, for the camp during COVID, so we couldn't go in person all the time. Then I met a couple of the girls through the Canada Basketball camp in person in my grade 11 year. And a couple of those girls went to Southwest Academy, so I knew it was already a good program. And I'd seen their stuff on social media. They'd always done well. They send girls to the States. So I knew it was a good program. It was just making the leap is kind of tough from out of province. Yeah. But I was considering other prep schools and even one in Alberta too. But that was the one that I felt like was the best fit for me and where I could make the most impact. And we were a good team, so it was good. A lot of us, I think almost our whole starting lineup ended up going Division I.
Cool. And then we're talking a lot about basketball. What about recreational activities and friends and partying and all that, which is usually how high schools go? But I don't know if you refrained from doing all that, or did a little bit about that, or did you just focus on studies and basketball, or did you go out and do all the regular stuff that high school kids do and university students do?
Well, when I think recreational, I also think about flag football and volleyball. So I did do that stuff. But in terms of partying, I did not. I didn't even go to one high school party, I don't even think.
Wow.
Because I also went to Harvest City. We don't party there. It's not what you do, I guess. So I was just locked in all of high school, really. I didn't even really get exposed to any of that type of stuff until university, because it's just different in university. But going to Harvest City, we definitely did not party. I didn't party. And then going to Southwest, kind of same thing. I went to kind of a smaller private Catholic school there. All of our team had to go there, and then Southwest was kind of connected with it, but not like the school's team, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I just have never really been a part of those type of activities, and it's kind of the type of sacrifice as well that you have to make.
Yeah.
To be able to go Division I, especially from Saskatchewan, it's extra hard, so you can't slack off. You
Oh
just
yeah, definitely.
grind, because some other girls may have much better opportunity if you're even just living in Ontario and you have the Canada basketball coaches there all around you and can help you go down south or play on the national team. It's just a lot easier, in my opinion, in a way.
Yeah, because you got to lock in. Because I played back way. I'm old. Way back in the day, and I did the partying and all the stuff you're not supposed to do. And I know if I would have but again, I didn't do it. If you lock in and you do your studies, you kind of almost have to isolate yourself away from a lot of the popular people or whatever, the people that are doing the drinking and the smoking and chasing guys and girls and all that, all the parties. If you go do your studies and you focus on your craft and you focus on your life and you focus on setting all that up, that's way, because that's going to build lifelong relationships. That's going to build you as a human being, and that's going to build you as a role model to other people, because you can show them what you need to do in order to play at the high level. So I commend you for that, because it's not an easy task, but it sounds like you've done very, very well, and that's awesome. I love that. Mm-hmm. So we'll move on to the North Dakota. How did they recruit you for North Dakota, and how did you get into there?
Yeah, so with Southwest, we went to a bunch of tournaments down south. And honestly, I thought there would be more exposure than there really was. The league was very competitive. The tournaments we went in were great. But I think it was weird, because that year I think there were less college coaches at the games than my coach had expected. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't necessarily an easy process, even still playing on a good team and a good league. My coach actually on Southwest had connections, though, down south because of players he had sent Division I.
Yeah.
And he had known the North Dakota coach, and that's kind of how we got connected. And then they obviously watched game film, and we've had some phone calls, and then I got an offer. So that's kind of how that all happened. But it would have never happened if I didn't move to Ontario. So I'm happy about that. And then I just chose it because I liked that it was close to home. I mean, because living in London, Ontario for a year, I realized wow, I did not go home much at all that year. And I didn't really care where I went, to be honest. I didn't care how far it was from home, but that was just a bonus, and I liked that. Mm-hmm. And I realized, because London, we had to take, I think, 2 connection flights to get home, and there was always issues. So I was like, wouldn't it be nice, just drive up whenever you want. Not really whenever you want, but for my family, they could come whenever. I wouldn't be able to leave because I have practices every day. But yeah. My visit, I liked a lot of things about it, and I liked how they like to recruit Canadians. So I didn't also have a lot of options at that time because, like I said, exposure was tough. But my AAU team in grade 11 also provided some exposure. But yeah, overall, North Dakota was just the best fit for me at the time.
And how do you figure out what kind of academics you're going to take, what's your major and minor, and what kind of path you're going to take as far as life after sport? We'll get into how you got into San Francisco, but how do you have a vision for what you want to do after you're done your basketball career? And we'll get into if you want to go into the Professional Women's Basketball Association too. Do you have a vision for what you want to do after, or are you just kind of figuring that out still?
Honestly, I'm not completely sure, but I am taking business right now. Mm-hmm. And initially I thought I was going to go into the medical field, but I wasn't quite sure about it. And I knew that if I'm not 100% positive that it's what I want to do, then I thought doing that and basketball at the same time is not worth it. And then wanting to change my major and do all that work for nothing. So I was like, I like the business side of things, and I like that it's very creative. So that's how I kind of got into that. I'm not quite sure what I want to do with it, but I think there's a lot of options with it, and I'll definitely do something. And as for after basketball, I think that I have options to play pro because the University of San Francisco has a lot of connections down in, I guess not down, but just in Europe. Because they recruit a lot internationally. Our whole team this year will pretty much almost all be international players. So that's really cool. And they send a lot of girls pro. So I think that's an option for me if I'm interested. We'll see how I feel by the end of my college career. that's an option, and then go into the business field and do something with that.
Wow, that's impressive, because you're going to be so well rounded in everything that you got going on. You're going to be the world will be your oyster. You'll be able to go and do whatever you want, basically.
Yeah.
And then, so for University of North Dakota, because I'm not really familiar with this portal process.
Yeah.
And this is how did you get through the portal? Like, how does it even work? Could you explain like the portal, and do you get paid money to play university basketball now, or is that what it is, or you just get to put yourself in this portal? And then, because it sounded like you went to a whole bunch of different universities that wanted you to play at their university, and you just got to pick the one you like the best. Is that kind of how it works? Because I have no idea.
Well, I mean, everyone's kind of confused of what the portal is until you're in it. And coaches have a different perspective than the players. Like, when you enter the portal, apparently, because I'm not a coach, I can't see this, but the coaches have told me that they get a list. There's just a list that they have of every single player that has entered their name in the portal. And then it's up to them to do the research. So think about it. This year, there were so many girls, I think over 1,000, I could be wrong, but a lot, like 1,500 girls who were in the portal. And think about having to do research on all of them. It's like just a name from it's just a name, and you have to research everything about them. It's like some girls will probably go unnoticed, because it's like, if you're not going to look up every player. I mean, you might, like, honestly, you might. So for the coaches who look up every player, that would be awesome if they can. Like, that's just a lot of work. But from my perspective, it's just like, when I entered the portal, the first day that it opened, it's like I'm getting a million texts on my phone. And this was very exciting. Also overwhelming. I was very excited. Coming out of high school, like I said, it was not like this. I only had a couple schools that I was talking to. So having a bunch of schools text my phone and see that was just it just made me feel great, honestly, because I mean, I put in the work and stuff. And over time, it got stressful for sure, because it's like, you have to make a decision, and all these schools are interested. And like you were kind of mentioning, is there money involved? Well, yes, now like NIL is a thing in NCAA. And I never really knew much about that, but just talking to different coaches, it's like, oh, they have money at their school. So it's like, if you're weighing out your options and maybe everything is all equal, then maybe you have to look at, oh, this school is offering more. Yeah. So, it's definitely a game changer from how it used to be in college, because a lot of players that you might not expect to transfer are transferring. And that's all for different reasons. But a lot of girls are now transferring for money. And obviously that was not my case. That was not what I was in it for at all. I didn't even really know how it worked, to be honest. But for me, I was mainly looking for just a good fit, a good experience, culture, and I don't know, San Francisco is pretty cool. So.
Oh yeah, definitely. Even to have that experience, that's like amazing. Like, I don't even know how many years ago they opened up that portal, but that sounds like something that's very interesting. So you mentioned too that you want to try to possibly aspire to go pro as well. Now you've upped your game to where you're at right now. Do you think you have to do even more getting locked in and more discipline as far as your nutrition and diet and weight training and basketball training and all that kind of stuff as well to get to the highest level to go pro?
Yeah, I think there's a couple things that I could get a little bit better at, such as sleep. Sometimes like I go to bed at inconsistent times, and I feel like I need to fix that a little bit. But like in terms of nutrition, I'm always pretty good. And also weightlifting and training. Like since I've been back, since I entered the portal, and well, actually not since I've entered the portal, but once I committed to a school and was settled down and back home, I was able to get on a regular training program every day, Monday to Friday, where I train from 8:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m., 2 hours on court, 1 hour in the weight room. So I'm already prepared for that. During COVID is kind of when I started lifting, and it's something that I love doing. So it's not really a chore for me. And then obviously like playing basketball is always fun, but I always prefer playing games than actually training. But I like doing both, but I love playing like 5-on-5, 1-on-1, any type of competition.
Right on. And then the mental game, like have you worked on your mental game, or how did the mental game go from like elementary, high school, university? Did you work on, because there's intimidation factors, especially when you start moving up into different schools that you're unaware, then girls, and then people and media and coaches and all. Like, how do you work on your mental game?
I've actually worked on my mental game throughout high school, and I had like mental trainers that I kind of did some things with just to kind of test it out and see how it was. And I've like learned some things through it, like visualization and obviously like self-confidence and putting in the work and all
Yeah.
that stuff to get your confidence. And it's very, very important. I feel like the game is mostly mental. If you don't, you can
Oh
have all
yeah.
the skill, and if you don't believe in
Oh,
yourself, you're not going to go very far, I don't think. So yeah, just even from my first year to my second year, like I was told to not shoot the ball in my first year. So my second year, we had a new associate head coach come and basically gave me all the confidence to shoot it. And
mm-hmm.
my shooting percentage went up
Yeah.
vastly. So it just shows that confidence is a big thing. And I mean, in elementary, I didn't really think too much about it. Honestly, it's more just like you're having fun.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah.
but I would always be pissed off after a bad game still, but I always felt pretty confident in myself, like I said, through success and stuff, but it's kind of how I had to learn to take the losses as well.
Yeah, definitely. Because people can fall. The pros, the best pros in the world, can fall apart if their confidence and their mindset and their mentality gets all fallen apart. The games. Then you got to put that all back together to get you in a state of like that you're gonna dominate, and your mindset is every shot I'm gonna take is gonna go in, even though that's not the case. But yeah, you have to think every shot that you take is going in the basket, and if you miss, you get pissed off, and it's like yeah. So the mental game is definitely huge.
For sure.
What else have I got here? I think we've almost covered. Oh yeah, what about being your sister's coming up? You got like two younger sisters. Are they trying to follow in your footsteps and have you as a role model and asking you a bunch of questions of what they have to do to get to that, or do they want to do what you're doing?
I think they both want to play after high school, and I'm not sure whether that's Division I or Canada, but I do know they both want to play post-secondary for basketball.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's been really fun training them. My youngest sister takes advice better from me because she's 6 years younger, and I feel like she maybe looks up to me a bit more than my other sister because she's only 3 years younger, and sometimes it's like we'll argue and stuff.
Yeah.
But no, both of them have worked hard, and I think that they both have good futures in basketball. I've put them on the weightlifting, and it's crazy because my youngest sister, she's in grade 8, and I was showing people comparison photos of before and after. I put her on a lifting program over a year ago, and she's the like buffest looking 8th grader I've met. Like,
awesome. Yeah, that's awesome.
She is strong, and sometimes I have to remind her to use that strength on the court. I'm like, you're not little anymore. Like,
yeah, definitely.
So yeah, and then yeah, overall, I just think that they'll continue asking me questions, and I'll help them with whatever I know and I've learned through my process. And it also helps because I've gained so many connections through this, and it helps them as well.
Yeah, definitely. And then faith, how much has faith affected your game and your life and your school? Because faith, you didn't get into the partying, you get into the drinking, you didn't even get into like all that kind of stuff. It helps you become disciplined. So how does faith factor into everything that you do?
Well, to be honest, I did go to Harvest City, but I wasn't like always like very into faith or anything in a way. Like, I feel like Harvest City is a very good environment to be in, and I actually do enjoy really going to the church because the pastor was my basketball coach.
Oh, really?
And he is a great guy, great coach, has amazing messages at his sermons, and honestly, it just motivates me. And he was a big he was a big motivator for me in high school, and just things he would tell our team, like I really respected him. So I would say like I didn't necessarily have like a huge faith, but going to Harvest City, it definitely had an impact on me, and having my coach being the pastor, and like they'd always just been great influences on me.
Cool. Yeah, because I know I didn't. I definitely didn't do what you're supposed to do growing up as well. I tried to get myself with all my sports I played. I wasn't able to like be totally disciplined with the drinking and the smoking and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, not at all. But I did okay. And yeah, you're like the almost really, really good role model for all the girls coming up. Whatever sport they want to play, all the principles are the same, and working on your mentality, and your mental game is the same, and the nutrition and everything that you do, you're going to be a good role model for everybody growing up. And I think a lot of the ladies and girls will look up to you and ask you a bunch of questions about what do I need to do and how do I need to get there, and you're going to be a good role model growing up for everybody else that's coming up. And your parents, like how did your parents factor into how you've been going to how did your parents factor into where you are today? Did they help you, driving you to all the practices and everything that they've done for you? Your parents must have helped you quite a bit.
Oh yeah, like obviously driving me to all the practices and just being at all my games, supporting me and making connections. My mom's basically like my manager. She
Yeah, sure.
She runs a lot of things for me. And then, yeah, like just even when I went to North Dakota, they went to multiple games. My grandparents came to my games, and it's just knowing that I have their support is so great. And also their decision in this process in the transfer portal was greatly valued, because me making the decision on my own, sometimes I'm like questioning myself because it's like hard, a tough decision. You're thinking about, like, I was thinking about like 5 schools at a point, and I'm like, oh my God, how do I make this decision? So having them to kind of have their input,
yeah,
to me, make a clear decision with confidence.
Cool. Well, I think I've covered almost everything that I wanted to ask you, but yeah, I love what you're doing. I love the things you're doing and all the steps you take to get there. It's awesome, and congratulations on. You haven't been to San Francisco yet as far as playing yet. When does that season start?
Yeah, our season starts around November, but I'll be heading down there around July 15th. And well, beforehand, I'll be going to Vegas to watch my sisters play. So we'll be driving down through Vegas. I'll watch them play. Cool. And then from Vegas, we'll drive to San Francisco, and I should be there around July 20th. So I'm super excited.
Oh, yeah. That's awesome. Keep up the good work. And thank you very much for coming on the show. It's been a fun and a pleasure to see, because I love seeing young athletes, and I hope a lot more young athletes will follow in your footsteps, both males and females, could like do what you are doing, because it's unbelievable. It's like,
yeah, no, thanks for having me,
because that's what you need to do. Like, you have to go through the process and put in the work and go to the weight room and watch your nutrition and stay out of the things that aren't going to help you out with that.
Yep, for sure.
So I appreciate it, Nevaeh, and have a good rest of your week, and good luck with all your studies and your basketball. You're going to be really, I'll watch for you in the NW. What is it? The World Women's National Basketball Association, the WNBA, or are you going to go down to Europe maybe to play pro?
Yeah. Yep. Potentially. We'll see.
All right. Well, cool. Thank you for coming on, and have a good rest of your evening.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
All right. See you later.
See ya.